folks, welcome to week number 7 of Interpersonal Communications Online for spring of 2014. What you see on the screen is our schedule as we are just kind of moving right ahead here. Notice that we are coming up very quickly on the halfway mark. Week number 8 is about our halfway mark as far as out of the 16 weeks. So keep up the great work. Keep plugging along. Again, remember my little bit of advice at our orientation meeting that the number one reason that students don't do well or don't pass my class is because they do not complete assignments. So keep up with the schedule. Make sure that you're completing all the assignments coming up. Okay, so here we are, folks, week number 7, February 24th through March 2nd, and I'm recording this on the evening, Monday evening on the 24th. So just a couple of things here. Remember that you have a discussion posting due on Wednesday, and along with 2 responses as well to classmates by Wednesday the 26th by 11:59 p.m. Again, folks, make sure to use that grading rubric as you are creating your discussion postings. Also, please make sure to check grammar and spelling and punctuation. Although you are in a discussion format or mediated communication format, remember that you do have to follow all the punctuation, capitalization rules and stuff. It is a college level writing course, so you do have to make sure that you follow all of those. Also, go back and look at the comments that I gave you on discussion posting number 1. If I had suggestions for improvement or things that you needed to do differently, please make sure you do that for this second discussion posting. Then also on Friday, February 28th, you will have quiz number 5, which is over chapter 5, which is all about perception. Perception is just, to me, a fascinating concept and a fascinating area to study. It really does help us realize that there is no fact, there is no one reality. We all see things through our own perceptual filters that are shaded by our life experiences, our preferences, our cultural biases. So we all go through our lives believing that we are seeing and experiencing the same things, when in reality we're really not. And that's part of the reason why I chose the Optical Illusions website for you to experience and then write about. Because I think it's just kind of a great illustration on some of those perceptual errors that can happen. Perception becomes extremely important as we then connect it to interpersonal communication, because how we perceive the other person, how we perceive the communication episode, how we perceive their motivation, all of that then plays a large part in how we respond to that person and how we perceive the relationship with that person. So all in all, I think just a very, very interesting chapter. Now, as we look ahead a week, as we look into week number 8, note that you do have quiz number 6 due on Friday, March 7th. Chapter 6 is all about self-concept, which is a great foundation for your first paired interview that you're going to do, which is also due on Friday the 7th. And I'm going to talk about that one in just a second, but you need to make sure that you have read perception and self-concept before you jump into that paired interview assignment, because both of those chapters are very important for you to have the foundation of before you jump into the assignment. Okay, so that's what we're looking at for the next 2 weeks. We've got discussion posting number 2 and 2 responses to classmates due on Wednesday, February 26th. Quiz 5 on Friday, February 28th. Quiz 6 on Friday, March 7th. And then paired interview number 1, which is due on Friday, March 7th. And I'm going to switch documents over so we can kind of look at that assignment together. Paired interview number 1 is all about perceptions of self and then others' perceptions of you. And I have all 3 of the steps kind of outlined here. The first step is to create 3 separate lists. And I do want you to include the first name and your relationship with the 2 interviewees. Your first list is a list that you create, and it has 10 words that describe how you perceive yourself. And you can include a variety of types of descriptors: roles you play, skills you have, physical attributes, personality characteristics, etc. What I tell students is do this quickly. Just do the first 10 words that you would use to describe yourself. The second list then is to have a family member or a close friend do the exact same thing, have them create a list for you with 10 descriptors on how that will describe how they perceive you. Do not show them your list, because that, of course, will prejudice them about what they're going to write on their list. So you want them just to write it without looking at your list. Your third list is have an acquaintance, somebody who does not know you well. Remember when we learned about the difference between impersonal and interpersonal? This needs to be an impersonal acquaintance. So I always recommend an instructor, a coworker that you don't know well, not somebody who you work closely with, a neighbor who you don't know well, a friend of a friend, whatever. But have them also do 10 words that describe you. Again, don't show them your personal list or the list from your family friend. For step 2 then, is you've got your 3 lists in front of you. I want you to write 3 to 4 paragraphs that analyze the differences and the similarities between your 3 lists. Your analysis should, of course, incorporate textbook theories and concepts and show understanding and application of these concepts. And I just give you some examples. For this paper, there are no required areas. You can take concepts from wherever you like in the book. What seems to make sense to me is looking glass self, social comparison, components of self, personality type, self-monitoring, reference groups. But you choose the concepts that seem to be best represented as you look at those differences and similarities between your lists. I do want you to highlight the text concepts in a different color or font, and I do want you to include definitions and chapter or section page numbers. Step number 3 is to write another 2 to 3 paragraphs that describes and analyzes the nonverbal communication that was present in your discussion with your partners. So focus on describing body cues, facial cues, appearance, artifacts, anything that you happen to notice as you were having the close friend or family member do your list, and then as you had your acquaintance do your list. So describe how nonverbally that conversation went when you asked them to do the list. What did they say? What did they do? What was their facial expression? What was the eye contact? So you're writing another couple of paragraphs that describes and analyzes nonverbal communication. So once you get this paper all done, most of these papers are 2 to 3 pages, double spaced in length. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this grading rubric. So a superior paper or an A paper is going to have 3 labeled lists. It's going to have an analysis that cites 5 to 6 concepts from our text, including definitions and page numbers, and it's going to clearly demonstrate understanding and the ability to apply course knowledge and information. Now remember, folks, if you're really shooting for the A, you might want to go up and above that 5 to 6 concepts. You might want 7 or 8 concepts just to make sure that you've got enough concepts in there and to make sure that you've applied all those concepts correctly. Make sure to double check grammar and mechanical errors. This is what the Writing Center is all about, or the Learning Resource Center. More than happy to help you with that. As always, folks, I'm happy if you want to send me a rough draft. If you want to email me a rough draft of your paper ahead of time, I'm more than happy to take a peek at it, give you some feedback, give you some suggestions for improvement. So please take me up on that offer to do that. The one thing I do ask is that you get it to me at least 3 days or more before the assignment is actually due, so that I have a chance to look at it and give you some feedback. So that's where we're headed over the next couple of weeks. Please let me know if you have any questions at all. If there's anything that I can help with that you're wondering about, please do let me know. I know this is a busy time as we get toward midterms here, as we get down to week number 8 and 9, as we get right to that halfway mark. I know things are busy. Again, keep up with your schedule and keep in contact with me and let me know if there's anything that I can help you do to be successful. Take care, folks.